Are you someone who wants to meet new people and make meaningful connections that change your life? If so, you are in the right place. Because in this video, I'm going to share with you the 6 steps that can change the way you approach your social life so you can make connections that truly matter. In this video, we're going to be covering my 6-step strategy that you can steal that's going to allow you to make new connections and foster amazing relationships. If we're meeting for the first time, hey doll, my name is Kat and I am the founder of the Fem Guide. I'm a femininity expert, and the Fem Guide is the #1 community for ambitious women who are looking to use their feminine energy to attract more of what they want in their social lives, in their romantic lives, and in their careers, all without losing the parts of themselves that they love, and all while staying in their authenticity. We all know that making new connections is crucial to seeing growth and success in our professional, social, and even romantic lives. But sometimes it's easier said than done. Just because you know that doesn't mean you know the right steps to take. That's why I'm sharing this strategy. So in 6 easy to apply steps, you'll know how to overcome social anxiety, how to stand out in any room that you enter, how to start conversations and build rapport with people you've just met moments ago. And I'll also share tips on how to maintain and nurture these connections over time so that you can create a powerful network of supported and like-minded individuals. By the end of this video, you'll have the mindset and actions necessary to navigate new social connections and ultimately bring more opportunities, money, and even love into your life through the people that you're meeting. By the way, this training is coming from one of my in-depth Instagram live classes. I do a lot of these classes on Instagram, so if you're curious to see more and catch them when they come on live, because I don't share everything on my social medias, I don't even save my lives that often, so head over to the Fem Guide on Instagram, turn on your notifications so you don't miss the next one. And if you're interested in more luxury lifestyle content, then you can follow my personal Instagram, Shanu. Let's jump into this training. Instagram, this is one of those where I've had a day that's got me really inspired, and I came with notes because my girls, they're winning and they're asking me incredible questions like, Kat, how do I, create the right balance of admiring someone but also coming off as high value myself without having this needy energy? How do I show someone that I have great things to offer them? All of these questions are only able to come because right now they're in a place of making great connections in the first place. And I realized that for many of us, it's not easy to know how to make connections. I used to be a really shy girl. I was socially anxious. Put me around anyone who I admired and instantly I'd forget that I had a brain. I'd forget all the things that made me interesting.
Name? My last name?
And I'd just be sitting there, I mean, even worse, put me around a man who I was attracted to, a man who actually had the things that I desired, and he would flirt with me, and all I'd know how to do is if he makes a joke, just giggle. What happened to sassy Kat? What happened to charming Kat? What happened to seductive Kat? What happened to humorous Kat? All of those aspects of myself would literally fly out the window. And here's why that would happen. And you might realize that this happens for you too. It's because we overvalue something in the other person and we undervalue things in ourselves. But no longer. I want you to be coming to me and asking me questions like, Kat, I've just made this amazing connection. How can I develop things further? But before we even get to that place, we have to get you in a place of making new. And the key thing is here, prosperous connections in the first place. So how do we do that? Well, we're about to jump into it. Step 1 of making connections that change your life actually involves you getting out into the world. Seems basic, doesn't it? Until you do the maths. If I was to ask you on an average week, how many new people are you meeting? What would that number be? The postman doesn't count. The barista at Costa, he doesn't count either. Drop in the chat for me. I asked this question to thousands of women before, and I will tell you with 99% accuracy that it's only about 10 times of those thousands of women that I've ever had someone come up with a number higher than 1. Everyone's answer, typically, unless they're one of my VIFs, to how many new people are you meeting a week? That answer is 0. In fact, that answer for me used to be 0. For some of you, it might be 1. But let's do some maths here. I want you to envision that you had a room full of 100 interesting people. How many people within that 100 would be in alignment with the things that you desire in life, your lifestyle, the goals that you're going to accomplish? Let's say it's 50% are having similar goals and aspirations to you. This is on a romantic level and a platonic level as well. Now, out of that 50%, what percentage of those people are actually going to be in congruence with who you like and what you're attracted to in friendships or what you're attracted to in a potential partner? If you have high standards, maybe out of that 50% is 25%. What's 25% of 50? 20, I think. Don't quote me on that. Maybe someone will do the maths for me and have a calculator right now. But let's assume that number is 20. Now, out of that 20 people, let's say we're just thinking romantically, how many of them are actually going to be single, actually not attached? 50% of that 20 brings us down to 10. Oh, someone said the number is 12.5. Thank you, 12.5. So we're actually 50% of 12.5. What's that? 6.25. Let's just say it's 6. Now, out of those 6 people, how many of them are going to stand the test of time? So those connections are gonna last beyond 3 months. Let's be easy on you and say another 50%. That brings us down to 3. Thank you. Someone's really good at their math in there. Now, out of those 3, what percentage are going to lead to either prosperous relationships or prosperous opportunities in your life? Let's be generous and say you've taken my courses and you're very intentional. It's another 50%. So now we have what? 1.5 people. I hope this is a wake-up call for some of you, because it was a wake-up call for me. Because if you do the maths backwards, how many people did you have to interact with in the first place to meet that 1.5 people? 100. 100. Let me say that for you again. 100. Meaning, if you're only meeting one new person a week, how long before you meet that 1.5 amazing people that you could either have prosperous romantic, platonic, or business relationships with? 100 weeks. But that's a long time. So if you'd like to speed up that process, write a number 7 in the chat for me. Because 100 is ridiculous. 100 weeks? What have you committed to for 100 weeks? I don't think childbirth even takes 100 weeks. So are we going to keep you in a situation where you keep on waiting week on week on week on, only meeting one person for you to actually implement the things that we're going to discuss? Or are we going to realize that for you to implement step 2 to 6, you have to increase the number of people you're meeting? Okay, I'm seeing a lot of 7s in the chat. You have to increase the number of people you're meeting. This is why you need to get out there. But you know what stops so many women, and I see this often in the women who I coach and support, from going out there and just meeting new people, is perfection. That used to be what stops me. I have to wait till everything is just right, until my hair is exactly how I envision my hair is supposed to be, until I'm at the perfect weight, until I look how I'm supposed to look. I'm going to wait to meet all of these amazing people and connect with others and foster new relationships until I have my feminine energy in order. And now I feel worthy. There is no such thing as perfection. Here's a real life example of this. I had an event to attend today. I knew that there was a chance if I go to her event that people might recognize me and people might know me. So, of course, I want to present my best self. However, the way my day was set up, I had about 15 minutes to do my hair and makeup. I can't produce my best in 15 minutes. I can't, okay? I said, Kat, is this a representation of you, of the femme guide? The answer was no, it was not a representation. And the old me, just for a tiny moment, was tempted. Oh, I'm tired. I'm going to be 15 minutes late. I'm probably going to have to sit at the back. Like all of these reasons to limit myself for coming. But now that I've leveled up, I no longer live my life either on someone else's timeline or on the idea of perfection. So I said, you know what, Kat? Just go. Look, maybe you're even being egotistical right now. Just be some anonymous girl in the back. I was not. I was wrong. I stood up there. I asked the question. Everyone was like, oh, the femme guide. I said, oh my God. No, it's not me. They saw me. They know who I am. Oh my God. But I'd already determined in my head that I was not going to let that stop me. So I want you to ask yourself, what limiting beliefs do you have in your mind that's stopping you from going out? A lot of it can be mental. So that's step number 1, is to just get out there. Step number 2 is to actually realize that, hey, at the end of the day, first impressions count. Here's what I mean. Something as small as the way that you walk can communicate so much about yourself and so much about how you feel yourself. You don't love your outfit today. No one needs to know. Walk like your dream man is behind you. That radiates a certain level of confidence. We're attracted to people like that. We're attracted to people who feel certain about themselves. And how you treat yourself is an indication to others of how they should treat you. It's also the way you talk. There was a moment where we got to take the mic and actually speak. I'm focused on not, everyone's going to be looking at me, or what if I sound weird because of this accent that I have, or X, Y, and Z. I'm just focused on what are my 3 key points that I want to remember to say so that I can communicate articulately. And ultimately what happened, everyone told me I was like, my questions and my thoughts and my ideas that I was sharing were really, really, really good. It's easy for all that stuff to look effortless, but the truth is I'd sat there for like 10 minutes. And in my head, I was like, okay, I'm going to mention this, and I'm going to mention this, and I'm going to mention this. Why? Because we're normal and we're human. And I understand that in the moment, just like you do, I might go blank. But that point of like first impressions, it really matters. This is even in the way that you move. This is in the eye contact. You want to make great connections? Do you know what's really powerful? Is having the people you want to connect with come up to you. Let me share with you how you can make that happen. Make a moment of connection with them in the room that separates you from the rest of the space. And that moment of connection can look as simple as, let's say you have a speaker speaking on stage. I want you to imagine if you were talking, and as you're talking, I'm going to do 1 or 2 things. Now you tell me which makes you feel more comfortable. So A, you're talking and I'm here like this. Or is it B, you're talking and I'm here like this? Most people are going to pick B because you're not a mind reader. You have no idea what's going on in my mind in A or B, but you make an assumption. And with B, with that slow nod, this is how we bring science into this stuff with our femininity and leveling up, right? I'm seeing lots of Bs. With that B, it makes the other person feel like you're listening to them and you're connected to them. That fosters that tie. You know me, I love to go on my tangents and my deep dives. So I hope that you'll start to learn to expect that from me. I'll have like 3 things to talk about, but we'll talk about those in depth. So even on that eye contact thing with the nod, if you were speaking and I was nodding like this, what does that make you feel like? Put in the comments for me. It makes you feel rushed. It makes you feel like you need to hurry up and get to the point. However, notice the difference in how you feel when I give you a slow nod. Right. Now that I'm giving you a slow nod, it's saying, go on. Keep talking. Tell me more. Because I'm here and I'm really listening and I'm here to listen to you. compared to feeling rushed or hurried or anxious or like I'm not listening. Picture this. You could be sitting in a room. You feel like you're just not at your best self, but you can still have a moment of connection with that person across the room simply from you changing your physical state from being like this to being like this. Powerful, powerful. This is stuff that really saved me when I was introvert, but even more than being an introvert, I was really, really shy and I was really anxious. Small little techniques like this ultimately allowed me to make more connections, and those connections didn't know all the fears and all the limiting beliefs that I actually had deep down inside of me. They had the impression of Kat so confident. I am now, but that wasn't always the case. Okay, so step number 1, get out there. Step number 2, make your first impressions count. Hold that eye contact. Walk with confidence. Talk with confidence. But step number 3, now you're getting out there. You're meeting more people. Instead of just being focused on what am I going to say about me? How am I going to talk about myself? I want you to just focus on listening. But not just listening. I want you to hear. Shoba, shotiba. Read between the lines. What is the person saying? People reveal so much about themselves on a regular basis. We're just numb to paying attention. So if I'm in a room full of people and someone asks a question like, oh, like, where was your favorite place that you travel? Person next to me says Mallorca. Now, let's say the girl across from me, she suddenly lifts her head up. Your average person is not going to pay attention to small stuff like that. We call those kind of things micro expressions. But you see me? I take note of that small 1 second gesture. She lifted her head up when she said Mallorca. So do you know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to be talking about how I went to Mallorca and blah, blah, blah. I'm going to be selfless and I'm going to turn the attention to the other girl. What are your thoughts on Mallorca? Are you familiar with it? Have you been there before? Now I'm giving the other person an opportunity to shine. Do you see how I was hearing without them even saying a single word? Reading between the lines also can look like when people are saying words, what do they really mean? Let's talk about the typical questions you get asked in conversation. Hey, how are you? I'm good, thanks. How are you? What do you do for work? I don't suggest asking questions like what you do for work because honestly, that's very boring. But if you do ask that question, so what do you do for work? And the person says, oh, I'm in nursing. How about you? What do you do? I'm curious to know, how would you proceed the conversation further? If the person responded, oh, I'm into nursing. I do nursing. What about yourself? A mistake many people will make is to sit in comfort and to sit in conversation around work. And so they'll go back to, oh, you're in nursing. My mom's a nurse. Where do you work? What a bad idea. By the way, if you're listening to this and you're wondering, Kat, like, why would that be a bad idea? That's just normal conversation. You didn't come here to be normal, did you? You didn't. You came here to be extraordinary. And in order to be extraordinary, you have to be willing to do the things that normal people are not willing to do. Which means moving beyond small talk. Because a person who responds that way is telling you that they don't enjoy their job. Or maybe they've had a tough day today. Either way, they're expressing through their energy negative emotion. So why would you want to continue to further manifest that feeling by pursuing the topic of their work? That would be a wonderful opportunity for you to do a complete 360. And here's how I would do it. I'd say, forget that. Who wants to talk about work? I'm more curious to know, when you're not working, like, what lights you up? What you get up to for fun? Powerful, powerful, powerful question. That's a strategic question, by the way, if you don't know. Here's why. Number 1, what happens? Think of the words I've used when you're not working. So now we're moving away from the work topic. Then I've said, what do you get up to for fun? What excites you? Excitement, fun. What energy is that? Positive. that energy is up here, not down here. So I'm actually taking the lead in the conversation, but I'm gonna let them do the talking. So I'm pulling the conversation where I want. I want our conversation to be high energy. That's the lasting impression I want us to have. So that if I want to stay connected to you, you want to stay connected to me. And we have amazing time together and we have amazing opportunities together. The third reason why that question is so powerful is it gives you another opportunity to hear. But now you're hearing what this person values, what inspires them, what motivates them, what lights them up. But I want you to understand the emotion it pulls out of them, that excitement, that fun, that positivity. On a scientific level, who did they now associate those feelings with? Yeah, it's with you. They associate those feelings with you. That's beautiful. The fourth reason why this technique is so powerful is because of the information it gives you. So now you're going to learn so much about this person and their lifestyle. Because when Karmisha says, oh, you know, I love to relax. I like to go to the spa and just chill. Sometimes I'll go for a picnic, spend time with my family. I now know when our moment comes to have another IRL, in real life connection, that me suggesting that we go do something super sporty, let's go hiking. Is that her vibe? That's not her vibe. That assignment was not understood, okay? Because the girl told you that she plays golf, she relaxes, she goes to the spa, and you're saying go hiking. No! What I would say is let's meet up. Let's go have some tea. It was a very relaxing, elegant affair. Or they're doing this pop-up and they're doing free facials. Let's go try out a facial. Do you know how hard it is going to be for her to say no to that? How much more could you achieve if, number one, you started getting yourself out there more? Number two, you started making phenomenal first impressions. And number three, you read between the lines. You really heard. How much more could you achieve? And we're only on point 3. We haven't even gotten to how you make that connection yet. But let's take a break. Let's take a pause. Because I know there have been a ton of comments while I've been talking. So let me just review over. I think some questions came in while I was speaking. By the way, shout out to you. If you haven't dropped already, where you are in the world while you're watching this, what seat you're in and what time it is, please do so in the comments. Also, you might be watching this on different platforms, so let me know, what platform are you on? Are you on YouTube? Are you a part of our community on TikTok? Are you on our Instagram? Oh, by the way, another tip for number 3 in terms of not just listening but hearing is I really encourage you to hear moments where you can celebrate others. So what is a moment that you can celebrate others? When they share something that they've accomplished. At this event that I was at today, there was a mother and she was talking and she said, "That's my daughter next to me." And everyone was like, wow, her daughter was 14 years old. How incredible for her to be putting her daughter in these spaces. And they actually watch a lot of the same content on YouTube and Instagram. And I just turned to the girl and I said, the fact that you're genuinely interested in this stuff at 14 and you carry yourself so gracefully, like you are doing so amazing. I wish I was like that. I waited till I was 16. I wish I was 14. And if you saw the way her face just lit up, like she had a moment of genuine appreciation. But too often we get so caught up in, I want to be perceived as this like, leveled up, high value woman. And you mistake that with being perceived as cool, with being aloof, with acting unbothered, with looking uninterested. That's for movies. That's for films. The only time mean girls are popular in real life is either on social media, and that doesn't last long, or in films, aka not in real life. In real life, I want you to think of women, people you admire. Are they kind people or are they unbothered, cool, I'm not interested people? I can't remember the name of a study, but they did a study that showed, I think it was Vanessa Van Edwards' Science of People group, but they did this study and they were analyzing what made people popular. And they pointed out 4 characteristics. One of the characteristics that was really surprising was they found that popular people liked the most people. It's counterintuitive because you would assume that, popular people, they're too cool to like other people. And I try to explain this concept to people, and sometimes they just don't get it. They're like, well, so Kat, I should just like more people? And maybe it'll be easy to understand if I explain this. Have you ever had the situation, you weren't really aware of someone, you didn't pay that much attention to them, they weren't really standing out to you, but through some channel or some means, you heard that this person liked you? Did that make you like them more or dislike them? Because we're all human. And your degular human, when they find out that another person likes them, they like the other person more. It's significant because nothing has changed. That person has done nothing except just like that person. But for you finding out that that person likes you, you're obviously you're like, they have good taste. I like them. I like people who like me. I don't think that's crazy. If I'd understood this earlier, I wouldn't have had this period when I was in university where I found out that there was a few people who didn't like me. And it was really shocking to me because in my head, I was thinking, I don't pay these people any attention. In fact, I don't like them. So I don't spend any time with them. I don't talk to them. I don't engage with them. So how on earth could it get back to me that group of people doesn't like me? Like, to me, it just didn't make sense. And then it dawned on me. I don't pay attention to them. I don't like them. Of course they don't like me. Because energy transfers. In fact, it's called spontaneous state transference, which is the state that you hold transfers to the other person. If a guy is nervous to go talk to a woman and he's pacing all up and down, he's walking back and forth, he's diverting his gaze, doesn't matter typically what he says, unless he's like a stud. He could say the perfect line to her and it's gonna come off awkward because that's the energy and the state he's carrying. So the state you carry is really important. So if you just make a small effort to say, how can I like people more? You'll find yourself making better connections. And just to be clear, we're not inauthentic over here at the Fem Guide. I don't believe in faking things. I don't believe in pretending to like someone if you don't like someone. But what I realized with my peers at university was not that I disliked them. There was just an aspect of them that grated me, which was the aspect of them that didn't take university very seriously. These were the group of people who would make a bunch of noise in class. If class ended early, they're like, yeah! And that grated me because no one forced them to be there. They're paying money. They're getting themselves in debt to be there. To me, it's just so low vibrational thinking for then you to be pretending and acting like you're some young child who's been forced. But just because I didn't like that aspect of them doesn't mean that I couldn't appreciate in Angelina, the fact that she's really into classical music and I also love classical music and we could bond on that. Doesn't mean that when Josh shared his love of rock metal, I don't even like rock metal, that I couldn't form a friendship with him or I couldn't connect with him. I just took an interest in his interest. I didn't take an interest in rock metal because that's not me and that's inauthentic. But I was intrigued by his passion and how invested and excited he was about that. And that I like. I like passion. So you don't have to be inauthentic to do this. But that state that you carry, it transfers. So if you also carry a state of, I'm open to making new friends, I want to meet new people, you will carry that state. And I'll give you one perfect example of this. Over here in London, and hopefully in the US very soon, I host soft life events. So these are like afternoon teas, dinners for other women who are interested in leveling up and femininity to really connect with each other, make new friendships, even do some business networking. Also meet me if they're interested in that. Usually they are. And last week we had one at the Kensington. So I'm in the bathroom, I'm just preening myself, and this gorgeous woman comes out in this orange dress. As she comes out, I see her outfit. I said, ooh, who is there? I want to talk to her. So I can't remember what I said. I think maybe I said hi or something, or I love your dress. And she said, thank you so much. And then in just one split second, just her body language and the way that she looked at me, I knew she wanted to keep talking to me. Isn't it funny how subconsciously we could just pick up this small stuff? I knew instantly. I was like, this woman, I don't know who she is, but I feel like she wants to keep talking to me. And then she did. She said, oh, by the way, I'm part of your event. I was like, oh, no wonder. That's why you're so beautiful. But I did not know beforehand that she was a part of my event. All I knew is that she was open to connecting. And because I was ready in that moment to be like, girl, how are you enjoying your time here? Oh, if you love afternoon tea, I love afternoon tea. Maybe we should try this place, or let me share this thing with you. And I think that kind of swiftly brings us on to the fourth step of making connections that change your life. And this is probably the most critical step, and that is to exchange details. Probably one of the most common questions I get about socializing is, Kat, like, how do I actually get them to exchange details? Sometimes I'll be like, that's easy. But then I think about when I started my level up journey and I was 16, I didn't know how. I was like, so what do you say? And I don't want to say something that's going to make me seem like a weirdo or a creep, or like I'm overly interested. And I had all these ideas in my head. Here's what I've learned that I can share with you. The easiest thing that you can do to make sure your in the moment connections become out of the moment connections is to find a point of commonality. For two reasons. Number one, there's something called rapport. So rapport is an exchange of words plus an emotional connection. Typical conversation is just exchange of words. That's conversation. Rapport is conversation, so that exchange of words plus an emotional connection. Now, on average, it takes people quite a few minutes before they hit rapport. You see two strangers talking, you typically know they hit rapport because you'll see their whole body language change. They'll start facing one another. They'll start mirroring each other. The ultimate leveled up woman does not wait for that moment where they hit rapport 5 minutes into the conversation. No, she's authentically strategic. She's going to find those moments of connection. She's going to pull them out in conversation as early as possible. And how I do this, just asking good questions. Don't ask, do you travel? Boring. Ask, where was the last place you traveled that lit you up? They don't have to state somewhere that I've been before. The point of commonality could come from anything. Someone could tell me that they love Montenegro because of the seafood. Do you know what I love? Oysters. That's the point of commonality. And I'm like, oh my, you have to tell me what the oysters are like, because I swear oysters are like a drug for me. I don't know what it is. I don't even know if it's scientifically proven, but the moment I have oysters, I'm just ready for a good time. Right? And see how even that answer, it's not even an answer, it's a prompt. One statement that was like 2 sentences. But now we have a point of commonality. And what you're really looking for is multiple points of commonality, because this can give you the opportunity to anchor that point. Kat, what do you mean by anchor that point? This is where you ground your commonality in reality, in today. If you ever come up to me in person in London, in Central, we're going to exchange Instagram details. But there's going to be a reason. And even though you're approaching me, I will help you find that reason. So for example, one of the girls who came up to me today, she's in events. I host events. Do I need someone to host my event today? No. But maybe some point in the future, I might need someone's ear when I have questions about events. I might need someone to assist me at an event. She's probably a great person to make recommendations of spaces for me to hold talks. So that was our point of commonality. When she said she does events, I'm like, the Fem Guide does events. She's like, what? I'm like, how's my London followers not know I do events. I still wonder how our tickets sell out, like, every single time. With how many people it seems didn't realize we do events. In a whole different context, I was invited to a private members club in London to speak about femininity and being charming. One of the men who went up on stage, an incredible speaker, his ability to hold a room in person, unparalleled. The emotion that man could make me feel from playing some games with a stranger next to me, out of this world. All that was going through my head is, how do I do this when I do my in-person events? He's also someone I want to connect with. Now, I didn't even know the host had told him that she would introduce him to me. So I'm just thinking, I just want to connect with this guy. And so what do? Afterwards, I literally implement this stuff. Well, first of all, number one, get out there. I'm there. Number two, first impressions count. I was making eye contact with him, right? So we had that moment of connection. Number three, don't just listen, but hear. Number four, exchange details. I don't know why I might want this person in my life in the future, but all I know is in that moment, his ability to captivate the room captivated me. And so I combine that with a compliment. I tell him how great he captivated the room. And I just ask him a question. And by the way, it's a great way to work with the masculine energy. They're fixers, they're doers. You ask for advice, they're usually very quick to help you. And I said to him, I was like, I love these games that you're playing. These games are so good. I feel like you probably learned these from somewhere. Notice I didn't say, did you learn these from somewhere? Because what can that be answered with? Yes or no. I said, it feels like you probably learned this from somewhere. That causes him to expand more. He told me where he learned them. And I said, I'm not going to be able to remember all of this. And you know what he said in that moment? Don't worry. Let's message each other on Instagram and I can send you a list of all the places. Done. As simple as that. But it's not really that simple. But it's simple. The more you keep practicing it, the more you keep progressing with these steps. So find your point of commonality. Anchor that point. In essence, this means find a reason for you to stay connected because of your points of commonality. You love travel. I love travel. Oh, okay. Would love to share some of my favorite travel destinations with you, or would love to get tips from you or places to visit that you said when you went to this place. Oh, you love to read? I love to read. You know, I'm going to send you one of my Audible friend codes. What are your details? They're so, literally, it's abundant. And let's just not forget, you can simply also just say, I would love to stay connected with you. Where would be the best place for me to contact you? I have micro points for my points. So part C to exchanging details is finding the best way to contact them. I've met some incredible people who, if you had told me, Kat, this person will one day be your friend, I would have been like, how? And it's because I've met them in certain spaces and understood they're in high demand. This man is a 7-figure earner. He's absolutely killing it in business. I really admire him. And I knew that so many people in the same room that I was in are all going to try to message him on the same place. While he was speaking, I was looking up his Instagram and I saw that he had about 1/10 of the percentage of engagement on his Instagram as he did his Twitter. Now, as someone who owns multiple profiles, I also know that that means he has probably 1/10 of the number of messages on Instagram that he has on Twitter. So my chances of getting my message read increases when I contact the person in the right platform. So I contacted him on Instagram. In fact, for those of you who are in my coaching, you know that I didn't even need to send him a message. There are specific tools and specific things that us women can do that can get someone to message us in the first place. And that's actually what happened in this scenario. But if I'd done my same strategy on Twitter, it wouldn't have worked. Someone said, I love the way you say chances. So British. Chances. Don't take your chance, girl. I'm so goofy. But yeah, when it comes to chances, you have to take your chance. Let me tell you actually a really good model that we have here at the Fem Guide as a company, but also something I teach my students is make it as easy as possible to get what you want. That's always top of my mind. How can I make it as easy as possible to get what I want? So if I have to contact you on a different platform, and that makes it easier for you to read my message, which ultimately leads to me getting what I want, which is us furthering our connection outside of this event space, I'm going to do that. So part D to part 4, part 4D, when it comes to exchanging detail, one of my followers did this today and it really impressed me. I'd met her. We'd followed each other on Instagram. She was so sweet. Young girl, gorgeous makeup, very like positive attitude. She's like, Kat, I love your Instagram. Like, oh my gosh, she was so lovely. But you know what was really smart that she did? She didn't just end it at us following each other. She sent me a message. Not when I go home. Not when I was on the train. She sent me a message instantly. And I did this 6 times today. So I'm not telling you this because I've seen other people do it. I'm telling you the strategies that I've used. Every single woman who I met today, who I exchanged details with, in the moment while they were standing in front of me, I sent them a message. There's 2 reasons I do that. Reason number 1, it's because me, I'll forget. That is just the truth. If you ask me now, what were the names of those women and what did they do? I don't remember. Do you think I remember? Do you know how many people I meet in a day? I don't remember. So knowing my personality, I know I have to message them in that moment. That's an anchor for me. So at the end of the day or tomorrow, I'm going to go into my sent messages and see who I've actually messaged and remembered that, oh, that girl is the one who has a daughter. I'll be real with you. Sometimes I'll be on dates, especially in the past. Sometimes I'll literally go to the bathroom and I'll write down something. I remember once writing down, someone had mentioned that it was his son's birthday coming up, and I just wrote the date down. And I think, let's say it was like 20th of April. And on the 20th of April, I messaged him. I said, hey, I just want to wish a happy birthday to your son. I know his birthday today. He was like, wow. He was like, you remembered? I said, no, I did not. I put it in my phone. But yes, I remembered. Listen, if you can't send a message right away, that's fine. But the moment you have an opportunity to sit down and rest, like let's say you're on your way home or when you get home, send a message. Now, the more personal of a touch you can give to your message, the better. So voice messages are, I'm giving away a lot of information. The voice messages are always stronger than text messages. Because of voice, there's so much power in our voice, and we instantly remember, oh, that was that woman, that person. In fact, someone said to me today, one of the ladies, yeah, she was so lovely. She was in the front, so she couldn't see me when I stood up. And she was like, the moment I heard your voice, I was like, is that the femme guide? She's like, girl, you can never be anonymous with your voice. That's all right. My voice is a tool of power and I will use it. So what's your tool of power? You could send a picture. That's something I used to do, especially if I've been to a place where it's specifically meant for networking and you're going to encounter like 20 new connections. What I would do is I would send a picture of myself with my message. Number 1, again, showing my personality, fun, playful, cheeky. But number 2, now they actually remember what I look like because they're not going to know from my business card. All right, so let's get into step number 5. Now you've messaged this person. Let's talk about what you're messaging. You want to message them correctly. Messaging someone correctly comes in levels. Level 1 is no message at all, in which case you have a lot to do. Level 2 is, hey, it was so lovely to meet you today. Here is why that message is not great. I have no context of who you are. Do you know how many other people I met today? A lot, right? Step above that, hey, it's so and so. It's so lovely to meet you and we should stay connected. But as someone who's gotten a lot of we should stay connected messages, it does nothing. Because in theory, yes, I'd love to stay connected. But how is it supposed to happen? And what does connection look like to you? Because connection to one person could be, let's hop on a Zoom call and talk to one another. Connection to another person could be, let's just be available in each other's network when we need each other. So it's not giving the other person clarity. And it's not taking things anywhere. My students in the Femininity Club, especially my students who've taken the Art of Confidence, are very skilled at reaching the next level, which is rare. So if you already do this, you're doing amazing. And that is to message intentionally. Hey, it's insert your name here. It was so lovely to meet you at insert where, insert location, event, date here. And insert an anchor point. So an anchor point is something that contextualizes your conversation, because just because they remember you and just because they remember you met doesn't mean they remember what you spoke about. So if you were like, I really loved what you said about your love for seafood, because low key, I was thinking that I was the only one who wasn't happy that there was only meat options. I just literally just made that up in my head, but I'm imagining something, anything. I can't tell you what it is. Only you will know what it is in the conversation. But anchor something that came in the conversation. If you can combine it with a compliment, that's also great. But don't give a false compliment. It's icky energy. It's not cool. Now, what my students have been trained to do is they would then form that connection point. Instead of that individual saying, I hope we can get to know each other some more. Yeah, okay, great. But me as a receiver, how are we supposed to do that? Instead, what my students have been trained to do is to create opportunity. So they will share something. It might be I'm going to X, Y, and Z. I think you would love it. Here's a link. Let me know if you would like to come. First of all, let's talk about how powerful that is. I'm going to X, Y, and Z. To do this strategy, you kind of already need to have a genuinely fulfilled lifestyle. This is why I really place an emphasis in my femininity coaching on lifestyle. Like, what are you doing day to day? What are you getting up to? What interesting things you have to look forward to? You don't want to be that girl who someone says, so what are you up to this week? And you're like, just working. Like, no, you want to be that girl who says, I'm going to this pottery making class, or I watched this YouTuber and I'm going to her meetup. I'm really excited about it. Or, I'm going to have a really relaxing week. I've planned a self-care day for myself, X, Y, and Z. That makes you interesting. That is someone who you'd be like, oh, I want to get to know this person some more. But that also allows you to implement the messaging strategy, which is, I'm going to X, Y, and Z. It's going to be so fun. So note how I said, it's going to be fun. You could say it's going to be exciting. It's going to be entertaining. Why do I say that? Why do I teach my students to say that instead of, I think it will be fun, or you should come. It would be fun if you came. Because now I'm making the enjoyment of the experience or the value of the experience contingent on whether or not they are there. It's going to be fun regardless. It's so much more powerful to say, it's going to be so fun. You should come. So whether or not you're going to be there, it's going to be fun. Now the other person's even more excited to get involved in this activity. Why I share this in particular is because it works at any time. You could message this to someone for that day. I'm going to this thing today. You should come. You could also implement this for next week or next month. But here's why I love it so much. Because even if you use this the day of, I'm going to this thing, you should come, 75% chance they're not going to be available. When I say that to some ladies, they'll be like, but Kat, 75% chance they're not going to be available. What's the point? It's not about whether they're available or not. It's about you setting an expectation or setting the opportunities for how you interact with each other. Because if I message you and I say, I'm going to this thing, you should come, it doesn't matter if you're available or not. You are now learning that within this connection that we have with one another, you can also message me and you can invite me to stuff. This expectation set, and by the way, it's the same in relationships. You're struggling to get on the phone with people. Maybe for 1 second, drop this idea in your head that you need to wait for everyone to call you, and you call that person. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I'll even call the person when I know they're not available. I just want them to know you don't have to text me all the time. You can just pick up the phone and call me. That's how the softness of our feminine energy can be so powerful. In the moment, if that person's not available, usually what will happen is they'll say, hey, I'm not free, but, and they'll make a suggestion. Either it will be, let's go on this date, or let's do something else together. Now, remember, you're going to be placing an emphasis in the beginning of making sure that this connection is solid. You need to drop a little bit of your ego. You need to drop a little, especially if you're trying to connect with quality people who are in high in demand. Drop that ego of, oh yeah, I don't want to seem like, oh, like I'm interested. Yeah, you want to seem like you're interested, sis. Who wants to hang out with someone who's not interested in them? If they are available, how fun and how exciting is it that now you don't have to go to this thing by yourself. You get to bring a friend with you. You get to bring someone you know, and you get to further that connection. By the way, in all of the steps I've shared so far, at no point have I told you that you should brag about yourself, that you should be focused on what knife you use and what fork you use and all of this stuff, what handbag you're carrying and what shoes are classy or not classy. Is that stuff important? I genuinely believe yes. But it doesn't matter if you have your etiquette skills correct at a table of high quality people if you don't know how to actually engage with them and keep their attention and ultimately turn this into a mutually beneficial relationship. The girl who's looking at her glasses and she's like, oh, which one did Kat say is the champagne flute and which one is the wine glass? If she does the things I've said today, she's going to get more out of the places that she goes than the woman who's Miss Etiquette Expert who knows everything but is so caught up on presenting herself as a regal princess that she never shows her interesting side, that she never makes an effort. She hides her funny side. She hides her sassy side. She's going to be boring, and I don't want you to be boring. The sixth step is finally now time to share about you. Yeah, I'm leaving that all the way to step number 6. I could have put that at step number 1, but I don't want you to make the mistakes I used to, which was placing a priority of people knowing about me at the top of like my social list of things to do. Why was I so focused on showing my worth in the beginning stages? It's because I didn't feel like my worth was enough. So if I don't feel like my worth is enough, if I'm actually genuinely insecure about who I am and what I have to offer this world, I'm going to overemphasize displaying particular attributes or how cool I am or how awesome I am. And it's interesting. The more your competence grows or the more you achieve in a particular aspect of your life, the less obliged you feel you need to brag about those things. So in the past, very early on, I own this company, the Fem Guide, and the Fem Guide has, 50,000 women on Instagram, and I do this, and I've been invited to do this and this, and literally the first things that I would say when people ask me like about myself. And I didn't realize, but very quickly those people's eyes would glaze over and they'd start doing that quick nod that I was talking about. I didn't understand what's happening in a moment. Me today, what's really funny is if I go to places, even if I know I'm in a room of like my ideal audience, I don't feel the need to like announce myself or the things that I've achieved. In fact, I'll hold it back. Sometimes I'll strategically hold it back because maybe I know someone else is going to bring it up. But usually, do you know what's so powerful and what's so mysterious and what's so seductive is if you have something that you could potentially, let's say, brag about or boast about or big yourself up about, and you hold that back and let someone find that out naturally, that makes them wonder, well, what else don't I know about this person? And I'm so serious about this. Like, now I will specifically only mention that I'm a femininity coach if someone asks. I don't feel like it's something I need to like spend all my time talking about. But I remember when I was at this private members club and we all had to share one interesting fact about ourselves. I was weighing up, do I share that I'm a femininity coach because I know this room is filled with my ideal audience? Or do I just share about me? I know I could say I'm a femininity coach and everyone goes, oh, what is that? And tell us more. That's an easy win. We're beyond that. So instead, I decided to just share about me, Kat, personal. And my interesting fact is I can control my dreams. So I practice lucid dreaming. I love lucid dreaming. And everyone was really intrigued by it. But you know what happened later on? Oh, it was so funny. It was so funny to me. She was like, we've actually got a celebrity in the house. I'm like, where is this celebrity? Oh, please show me. Let me see them. And they were like, Kat is a femininity expert. And everyone was looking at me like, that girl? She didn't say nothing. And then afterwards, the whole table I was sitting with, they were literally like, oh my gosh, she didn't tell us. Like, you were holding this information back. Like, we didn't even know the kind of person that we were sitting amongst. And that comment struck me. This is coming from the girl who was growing up shy, insecure, didn't feel like she had any worth. When she said, we had no idea the kind of person we were sitting amongst, it stood out to me because I knew for sure if I'd gone with start off by telling them all about me and why I'm so amazing, that comment would never have come up, because that feeling of, oh wow, this is someone who's actually got a lot of really interesting things about themselves and they didn't even tell us. What else don't I know? I want to get to know this person more. That feeling would never be there. But before I wrap up, this is why I say leveling up takes time. It takes years. It's a continuous process. It's not something we ever finish. Because that piece I just shared with you, I didn't learn that until this year. This year. I've been coaching for over 3 years now. So this is why I say just focus on like what is just the next step. Not what's the ultimate end goal. Girl, I'll be really real with you. If I started off my level up journey, let's say I felt like I was at 4. Nah, probably a 3, to be honest with you. And let's say in terms of the things I've done and how far I've come, let's say I've moved from a 3 to a 7 or an 8. If I focused on how do I jump from 3 to 8, I would have been so exhausted, so confused, so overwhelmed, so daunting. But instead, you see, with this strategy that I've written down for you, I didn't go from point 1 to point 6. I went from point 0 to point 1. So you can even listen to me talk about this journey on my podcast. When I wanted to get into affluent spaces, I realized that spend £300, buy a ticket, go to the Four Seasons for a gala, have the perfect dress, talk to all of these people, leave with phone numbers and business cards, and then find anchors for you to continue these relationships. How the hell am I going to do that? That's going to be too much. That's going to be overwhelming. So if you're curious how I implemented this strategy, for 1.5 whole months, I was focused on point 1. Not even just point 1, point 1A. Because point 1 is to get out there into the places where the people are that you're seeking. Point 1A is to just go out more. Doesn't even matter where. So for me, I just had to get comfortable with my own company. And I knew that I couldn't go to the Four Seasons alone because that was scary for me. I had all these fears of people judging me. So I said, Kat, you're just going to get comfortable going to get coffee alone. And that's what I do. I go to a local cafe in my area and I go have coffee. And now I'm learning to be comfortable in my own company. And now I feel confident. So step 2, I said, okay, we're going to take it up a notch. You're going to go to the cinema by yourself. Step 3, okay, now I've done the cinema by myself. I'm going to go to dinner. But do you see how incrementally I broke that down. I'm going to go to dinner by myself, and I'm going to dress up, and I'm going to have to confront the fears and the ideas that are in my head about what people are thinking about me being dressed up and eating a meal by myself in my local restaurant. Level above that. Now we're going to go dinner, but we're going to go to somewhere high end. And eventually I got myself to a place where I am now, where now I get paid to show people where are the nice places in London. Now I host, it's just hitting me. Oh, wow. Now, no, guys, we have to take a moment. What? If Kat at the beginning, who was like, oh my God, I've never ordered a cocktail before. How do you order a cocktail? Cause see that now we're not just going to these places. We're hosting meetups so that other women could do the same thing in these places. She would be so impressed. But if we told her to focus on getting to that place, she'll say, please go and sit down. I don't know how I'm going to do that. Yeah, I cannot even sustain a conversation. All right, ladies. So just to wrap up that point number 6 is to share about yourself. Now it's finally time to let this person in a little bit more about you and your world. And when I say share about yourself, I'm not telling you to tell that person when your last endoscopy was, or how your ex-boyfriend treated you so badly. That's not what I'm talking about. When I say share about yourself, I mean share your desires. By the time you get to this stage, you're going to be around more affluent, successful people. They're very eager, I've learned, to support you and to help you. I remember one time being invited to another private members club. You know me, I love my private members club. I love to talk there. And I was giving a talk to all of these men and these women about how to be charming. And there was one man in particular. And he was giving me that slow nod. And my eyes kept pulling back to him. And I made a mental note. I really need to speak to that guy. Like, I don't know who he is, don't know anything about this guy, but I feel like he really gets me. Like, he really gets what I'm about. And I'll have to keep this person anonymous and the company that they work for anonymous. But when we started to converse, if you're my coaching client, you know what this is. But when we started to actually talk, because he actually, guys, let me tell you about that day. Do you know people queued up to speak to me? This is why I said, like, so much stuff is in our head. That day, I was so nervous because I'd never done anything related to coaching for men before. And all I'm thinking is, how am I going to make my feminine message applicable to all these masculine men? So I focused on being charming because that's universal. But that was a fear in my head. Meanwhile, at the end of my talk, there are people queuing up to talk to me. So this is why we can't listen to what we think in our head. Sometimes we just have to do it. Just like that list. You just have to do it. Anyway, to cut the story short, let's say he runs one of like the biggest, if I say the type of company, it'll be so obvious. So I'm just going to have to fabricate a little bit. Let's say I'm a financial fitness coach and this man happens to be the president of Deloitte. That's the kind of like connection I'm talking about. So I was just like, whoa, like this man is incredible. But Kat, who hadn't spent years trying to socialize with people and making so many mistakes, she would have immediately focused on, let me tell this person why I'm amazing and why they should be my friend and why we should have business opportunities together because they're up here and I'm down here. But Kat, at that point, she'd done all that stuff already and realized it didn't work. So at that point, I was just like, let me just form a friendship with this person and see what our commonalities are. And so that was what I focused on. And so he actually invited me to a private members club that I'd always dreamt of going to the very next day. And you'll understand why I share this story when I tell you that in my head, I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to this place. But I kept it cool. But I did share it to him in conversation of, he mentioned one other club. And that was actually a club I wanted to be a member in. And just in passing, I said, oh, I've always wanted to be a member there. But the thing is with these clubs, then you need people who are members to support your application on top of paying the fees and stuff. And I didn't know a single person apart from him. And without me even asking, just for me sharing about myself, oh, I've always wanted to be a member at these clubs, but I don't actually know that many people. He lit up and he's like, I can support your application. I said, really? He's like, yeah, I'll support your application. Cha-ching! How did we go in 1 week from not knowing a single person who could get us in this private members club to now having someone who's actually a part of so many clubs in London saying they're going to support my application? And if you've heard me talk about the story, you already know what actually ended up happening. We skipped that whole process and I got a personal invitation. Because I ended up meeting the person, and this guy introduced me to him, and who's the gatekeeper to these applications in the first place. So I ended up not needing any reference because my reference was right there. But would never in a million years have even gotten to that point was it not for that small moment of vulnerability, of me not wanting to seem perfect and say, you know what? Let me share a little bit of my desire with you. I've always wanted to be in a club like this, but here's my problem. I don't know anyone to support my application. Now, if you've been following me on Instagram or TikTok for long enough, you know that when you present the masculine with a problem, and that person, man or woman with that masculine energy, genuinely cares about you, they will try to fix that problem. I didn't even realize at the time what I was doing. And by the way, just so you know, when you're sharing about yourself, don't be doing it like this. Don't be like, oh, you know, I've always wanted to be a part of a club like this. Don't do that. Because the other person will feel pressure. Alright, okay, so that is it for your 6 steps on how you can make connections that change your life. And the reasons why I share those stories is because it's all well and good for me to say making connections change your life, but it's actually better when you can see real life examples. And the best examples I can give is from my own personal experience, as well as from the students who I have coached.